The International Energy Agency, or the IEA, today concluded its two-day ministerial meeting that focused on a wide range of energy industry issues, from low-carbon emissions to the ongoing Russian war in Ukraine. Also on the agenda at the high-level meeting was the Africa Road to Clean Energy Transition and more. Joining me now to discuss this is Martins Aruge, who's a partner in charge of tax, regulatory and people services at KPMG. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, what are your views on the two-day IEA ministerial meeting in Paris, which ended today? How did things work out there?
Thank you very much for having me. I think that the meeting was timely, given what the world is currently facing in the light of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and its impact on energy security in the Western world. So the meeting is very, very timely because one of the focus of the IEA is energy security. So the West now realizes that they need to hasten efforts to achieve energy sufficiency. Otherwise, they may be held hostage by Russia or any other nation that they are at this point reliant on for their energy supply. So I think that the meeting is timely, given the current situation in the world energy space.
And how impactful do you think the Russian war in Ukraine will be for the global agenda on energy transition?
Very, very impactful. Everywhere you go in the world right now, everyone is complaining about gas prices, gas price for fossil fuel. It's gone very, very high. There's been riots in Spain. There are talks of popular revolts in parts of the Western world. And everyone suddenly realized that it is impossible to continue to rely on the source of power or a source of energy that you have little or no control over. It's different from renewable energy, whose focus is primarily around solar, wind, things that everybody has at least to an extent in their country. And with the advent of batteries and better battery technology, you can also save that energy. So I think the Russian-Ukraine crisis has primarily let the entire world know that it is the right time for us to begin to hasten decisions and speak more around energy transition to renewable energy and ensuring that we have a much more sustainable and self-sufficient form of energy that is within, to a reasonable extent, our own local jurisdiction.
Thanks for that. The IEA plans to publish its latest Africa Energy Outlook report for 2022 later on this year. What issues would you like to see in that new report for the continent?
I think the most important thing is practical solutions that speak to the issues in Africa. I've said this 1,001 times. I've been saying this for over a decade. You can't talk about an energy transition for Africa. An energy transition only occurs in instances where you already have energy sufficiency from one particular or several sources, and you are then looking to move. A transition is a journey from one place to another. We haven't even started the journey, so we can't be talking of transition. So we need to have a holistic, African-centric solution that speaks to the peculiarities of the continent and isn't totally focused on talk around transitioning. We are not transitioning in Africa. We're building an energy source which we currently don't have. So I'm more interested in seeing what practical solutions they have to address the energy poverty situation we have in Africa.
All right. Now, the Energy Minister of Sweden, Van der Straten, has asked the IEA to deepen its engagement with Africa. What should these engagements look like? What should they include?
Okay. Again, I think it still ties down to understanding the rights of Africa and having a solution that speaks to the peculiarities of the continent. There's been a whole lot of talk around debt climate swap, where the debts held by Western nations for African nations are converted into investments in renewable energy sources, in climate-friendly energy sources. So those are the kind of engagement. What kind of policies should be in place to be able to drive that kind of idea? Africa is very much in debt. There is a significant debt challenge across the continent. How do we, knowing that we have this energy poverty situation in Africa, help transform those debts to climate-friendly energy solutions? So it's not just about talking about debt forgiveness or whatever we've done in the past. Now, we can tie that to a form of climate-friendly energy investment across the continent I think those are the kind of engagement that we should be seeing. And those are the kind of policies and conversations that IEA should be leading, given that all of the leading members of the industrialized world are members of IEA.
All right. And how should Nigeria position for the rapidly evolving challenges and opportunities on the global and continental energy scene?
Okay. In the short term, I think the first thing is there is obviously a need for gas supply to the Western world. We've always said Nigeria is a gas enclave, even though we've consistently always focused on crude oil. So we need to begin to put in place policies that help and aid the development of gas infrastructure and our gas reserves. I don't think that can happen in the short term, probably something that will happen in the mid to long term. But coming back also, we've passed the Climate Change Act in Nigeria. So we're also looking towards encouraging the development of renewable energy. Today, we don't have one single renewable energy source contributing to grid level power in the country. So that's something we also need to be looking at and say, how do we move to the next stage? And I'm talking about the exception of hydro. There is no solar plant, there is no wind plant that provides any sort of power to the grid today in the country. So that's something we also need to be looking at and saying, how first of all do we develop our gas reserves and become a ready-made alternative for the Western world in terms of gas supply? And then how do we also then step up our transition, if we can call it that, or our development of climate-friendly renewable energy sources? I'm talking about grid level, not just mini grids across rural and unserved areas.
All right, Martins Adoje of KPMG, we thank you so much for your time and hope to see you again on the Arise Exchange. Thank you so much for your insights there.